Have you ever wondered what it would be like to trust God when no one else did? Thousands of years ago, the world had become filled with violence, corruption, and wickedness. People had turned away from God and lived only for themselves. But among all the people on earth, there was one man who stood out. His name was Noah. Noah was a righteous man who loved God and obeyed him. One day, God spoke to Noah and gave him an extraordinary command.
Build an ark. An ark was a massive wooden ship, larger than anything Noah had ever seen. God told Noah that a great flood was coming to cover the earth and cleanse it from its wickedness. Imagine how strange this sounded. There had never been a flood like this before. Yet Noah didn't argue. He didn't delay. He obeyed. For many years, Noah worked on the ark. Day after day, he cut wood, carried materials, and built according to God's instructions. People laughed at him. They mocked him. They thought he was foolish.
But Noah kept trusting God. When the ark was finally finished, God told Noah to bring his family aboard. Then something amazing happened. Animals began arriving from every direction. 2 of every kind came to the ark, male and female. Birds filled the sky. Creatures large and small entered the ark exactly as God had commanded. Noah, his wife, his 3 sons and their wives entered the ark. Then God himself shut the door. Soon dark clouds gathered overhead. Rain began to fall.
It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. The waters rose higher and higher until mountains disappeared beneath the flood. Everything outside the ark was swept away. But inside the ark, Noah and his family were safe. The ark floated on the waters for many months. Finally, God remembered Noah and sent a wind across the earth. Slowly, the flood waters began to recede. One day, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. Noah waited patiently. First, he sent out a raven. Then he sent a dove. The dove returned because it could find no place to rest. A week later, Noah sent the dove again. This time, it returned carrying a freshly plucked olive leaf. The floodwaters were going down. When Noah sent the dove a 3rd time, it did not return. The earth was becoming dry again. Finally, God told Noah it was time to leave the ark. As Noah stepped onto dry ground, his first act was not to build a home or gather supplies. He worshipped God. Then God made a special promise to Noah and all future generations. Never again would a flood destroy the entire earth. As a sign of this covenant, God placed a rainbow in the sky. Every time we see a rainbow, it reminds us of God's faithfulness, mercy, and promises. The story of Noah is more than a story about an ark and animals. It is a story about trusting God even when others don't understand. It is a story about obedience when the task seems impossible. And it is a story about God's mercy and His promise to those who follow Him. Because just as God protected Noah through the storm, He remains faithful to guide His people through every storm today.